There is something out there. A presence that has been around for thousands of years. Silence is needed. Sanctuary is all around. Don't disturb it. Tread lightly in these waters. Look for movement and slow your own. The weather can be your friend and your enemy. It's the type of place that warrants knowledge, education, technique. It's not just putting the boat in the water. You need a game plan that accounts for locations, where the sun shines, where the wind blows. Downright scientific. It's a hands-on study of habitat and the species that live in it. It's like going on safari, but here you trade the bush for the lagoon, a Remington for a rod. You have to find the local ways. There will be misses. There will be trophies. Our lives as anglers have been shaped by areas like this one. So take it in. Intoxicate yourself with the experience. Rushing gets you nowhere. Stainless steel winter skies. Not the everyday for New Smyrna Beach, a coastal hamlet where the good life has always been solar powered. The Sunshine State has no shortage of beach towns, but this one has a vibe all its own. There are live oaks as old as the Constitution. And on Atlantic Avenue, the city's main drag, the sidewalks are calm. Two wheels outnumber four wheels. The traffic jam is an endangered species. New Smyrna Beach is 30 square miles of barrier island north of the Space Coast and south of Daytona Beach. 13 miles of the city skirt the Atlantic Ocean. Over your shoulder, a mix of waterways spread like a labyrinth back to the mainland. It's the second oldest city in Florida, but the locals and their predecessors haven't spent the last 150 years building up, and away. It's a quiet town with an endless supply of low-key and no problem. It feels like you could stand on your toes and see over the rooftops to the packed sand beach, which doubles as a highway. Sure, the ocean may be populated by surfers and kayakers thanks to the famous break, but the beach, quiet and serene, save for packs of terns that race along the shore. If you're talking about fishing here, you're talking about the lagoon. The Mosquito Lagoon, which is part of the Indian River Lagoon system that stretches across 1/3 of the eastern coast of Florida, some 156 miles. A trifecta made up of the Mosquito Lagoon, the Banana River, and the Indian River. While a series of inlets up and down the coast provide access to the ocean, in the Mosquito Lagoon, the tides have limited impact. These fishing grounds are more like saltwater lakes. In many areas, the wind is the only thing generating any water flow. One of the most biologically diverse areas in the world, it is a 23,000-acre labyrinth of shallow creeks and flats that veer like crooked fingers in every direction. The channels are repetitive and unique at the same time. Endless walls of mangroves, one crescent moon embankment after another. But within that monotony, nature and wildlife are in full bloom. Dolphin, heron, and osprey sightings dot the sky and water, proving why this is a protected refuge. It all adds up to a world-class, year-round playground for fly and light tackle fishing. Captain Justin Price has the Mosquito Lagoon committed to memory. The man behind Right Insight Charters, Justin has been fishing New Smyrna Beach since he was 9. That's 30 years. He guides the Mosquito Lagoon, Canaveral National Seashore, and Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge.
Something I did just to get outside when I was a kid. Ride my bike down to the river, spend all day there till the sun went down. Sometimes I caught fish, sometimes I didn't.
Justin's experience is necessary in a fishing destination this popular and intricate. It's easy to get impatient if you're not careful. The serenity is welcome until it's only a reminder that you failed to inspire a single strike.
Anything with scales.
I'm just gonna work this little pocket, that edge right there, to get some trout around this. Searching for a miracle, man.
Go.
Justin nearly throws his back out with this trophy. Perfect for that spot over the fireplace, in a dollhouse. Speckled trout can grow up to 15 pounds here, but then are referred to as gator trout. This one is just a juvenile, but a sign of a healthy breeding and feeding habitat. This young'un is an indicator of what's to come.
They're pretty.
So you can be fishing a hole like this, catching little trout like that?
Yeah.
The next thing you got a 10-pound drum on. Reel.
Pretty color too, good fish.
The average redfish here runs 3 to 8 pounds, with a few unicorns that reach 40.
Got some weight.
They can often be found in schools of several hundred fish in less than 2 feet of water.
Finally.
Because of the limited tidal flow, nearly all of the redfish born in the lagoon system will remain in these waters the rest of their lives. There are entire breeding populations that never migrate as other redfish do. There's plenty of food and the weather is good all year long. Even if they could leave, why would they? Turns out the reds are willing to bite. But as we learned, it may require more hunting than fishing skills if we're going to leave with more than just one hookup. Sport Fishing Television is brought to you by Ram Trucks, powered by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. By Yellowfin, your legacy. By Simrad, go with confidence. And by Mercury Marine, #1 on the water. The lagoon is a special place compared to most fisheries. It takes a duo, a guide and an angler. You must stalk your prey, not just lie in waiting. Not the typical angling experience. You're always on the lookout, prospecting for movement, staying quiet, walking on eggshells. Ankle-high water levels turns any sudden noise into a sound wave that ripples through and ruins your stealth approach, thanks to super sensitive lateral lines on the fish.
Yeah, so now throw it to that bank in front of you. 12 o'clock.
Using the clock system is key to these parts. Being patient is another. But with competition in this area comes consequences, and Justin knows what to look for.
An acreage of 23,000 acres inside the national park. There's roughly, on average, from 70 to 80 permitted guides. Once you break down the areas of where these fish want to be, it doesn't seem like a lot of space.
Finding ways to not waste time in the hunt is essential to increasing our odds against these fish. He treats his method as if he's an assassin, sneaking up and seeing where the shadows fall.
Right now we have low light, so we're relying on surface movement. Shadows are reflected out so far. These fish, they're going to see our shadows first. I have the sun in my face. And it's going to help me to see the surface movement of these fish, an indicator of where they are.
When you take your time, things go your way.
Oh, he's on it, he's on it.
He's searching.
Twitch it, twitch it.
I woke up from that one.
Well, he kept looking for it.
He was hunting. The one time he swung around on it.
We gotta be real quiet though, because
There's a bunch of them right there, yeah. Nice, buddy. Kick ass.
When fish are super spooky, it's time to take a crack at the fly. With fly fishing, the rod is both rifle and scope, and your chosen fly, the ammo. That hunting vibe just went up a couple notches. In this type of fishing, you look for the shot and take aim, hoping to find a hungry new friend. When on fly, the wind is an enemy that you want to keep close. Make him fight for you instead of against you. We look for those reds that give us a little hint of their location. Could be just a bit of the dorsal, a slow flicker of the spotted tail, any sign of motion. The sight of a red makes the endorphins kick in. You want to hoot, holler, and point, but you can't. Hold it in. You strip the line to place the fly right in front of the fish's face, tempting what's below.
I saw a little wake. Not too bad.
At least he was hungry.
One of the greatest advantages of the lagoon is that it allows you to switch up at a moment's notice. If one type of fishing runs its course, that's okay. These parts oblige any change. A quick gear swap back to spinning, and you can find yourself smack in the middle of a buy one, get one hookup.
2 fish, another fish with him, another fish with him. That was sick.
Sport Fishing Television, powered by Ram Trucks, is being brought to you by Yeti Coolers, built for the wild. By Penn, let the battle begin. And by the Florida Keys and Key West, come as you are. Driven to Fish, powered by Ram Trucks. After running ragged around the lagoon, weathered visitors can crash at one of New Smyrna Beach's bed and breakfast, the Night Swan. Situated on the intercoastal waterway, this B&B lets you reflect on the day without distraction. With more than a century overlooking the lagoon, it embodies local charm in this quaint beach town. With a new day ahead, we spring back into muscle memory. Going on back-to-back days, it becomes meditative. Spots look familiar. Conditions are similar. Same gear, same boat, same goal. Feels like home on the water. And with that mindset comes the same techniques, the art of the push-pull. It's a skill in itself. Pulling is about stealth. It's about direction. angles, geometry. Not the type that you learn by reading about it, but by practice, experience. The push-pole itself is more than just a tool for guides. It becomes an appendage. When you silently ease into fish, being artful with it isn't an advantage. It's a necessity, and it works. Guide and angler work together. The guide is on lookout, spotting and directing.
Kind of parallel to the shore about 1 o'clock.
It might be corny, but without teamwork, you might as well go home. With ninja eyes seemingly in the back of his head, we strike red gold.
He's up on your bait. He's up on your bait. You just say,
As Justin says, these fish are educated.
reel, 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 reel.
He's right. Anglers sometimes just talk about the follows they get.
Nice blue tail too.
Reeling in, just one fish can be a victory depending on the conditions that day. This time it's luck with a pair of aces. Double hookup.
Doesn't get any better than that. Nice fish too. Sick stuff right there. It's only the second time I've ever seen that happen.
With Justin being a local, not only can he put anglers on the fish, but he knows how this habitat can thrive in the future. The Marine Discovery Center is focused on education and the science of the lagoon's health.
So here at the Marine Discovery Center, we focus on education and outreach. So we have our motto that we want to get our hands on and our feet wet.
One of its ongoing initiatives is oyster bed restoration.
These are recycled oyster shells that we've recycled from a dozen different restaurants. And these oysters are going to be used to stop erosion by creating a little bit of a buffer against waves, and also they'll create new oyster habitats. Oysters are what we call a keystone species, and they're also an ecosystem engineer. So oysters can actually change the ecosystem around them. Different fish and plants rely on oysters for protection. They rely on them for habitat. They rely on them for food. Oysters also help out with water quality. A single oyster about 3 to 5 inches long can filter 50 gallons of water a day, and that's as much water as you put in a bathtub.
A tour of the Marine Discovery Center makes it clear how essential the Indian River Lagoon is. We return to the lagoon as supporting characters eager to play a role in its next chapter. Sport Fishing Television is being brought to you by Ram Trucks, powered by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. By King Sailfish Mounts for that once-in-a-lifetime catch. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. And by Simrad. Go with confidence. Oyster beds are a hub for baitfish, and where there's bait, there are predators.
They are lit up.
These guys got this pretty stuff right here around their eye. Love it. Old iridescent. We are searchers. For a guide, it's life on the push-pole. That's what the lagoon is all about. New spots and old haunts. Taking care of the fellow watermen. Like most fishing communities, we rely on each other.
Do the bait guys hang out here all year?
Primarily, they'll shrimp during the night.
Yeah.
They'll catch them all during the day. The boat has holes in the side of it, so the water and the tide will stay in the boat and keeps the bait fresh. It's the freshest bait around.
Bait boats work the lagoon on the way out to the fishing grounds. You pull up and exchange money, tips, stories. It harkens back to the days of trade on the water. A little bit of nostalgia in this historic area. We maneuver to a deeper section of the flat. Now in the lagoon, when we say deeper, it means going from ankle high to knee deep.
I've been fishing this spot off and on frequently, and there's been fish here. It's a deeper section of the flat, and with the cooler temps, some of these fish that aren't wanting to be shallow right now until the sun's higher are going to be congregated in this area.
As a guide, it's about knowing what flats and shorelines hold fish. looking for areas that haven't been pressured by other boats recently in hopes that they provide rewards again. And they do. Solid-sized redfish in the lagoon are in the 20-pound range. This one is just shy. But like most anglers, when I tell the story back at the dock, it'll be 40.
Beautiful specimen right there.
This right here is what this lagoon is known for.
We needed every one of Justin's 30-plus years on these waters to pull off this trip. He moved the boat like a chess piece, outmaneuvering the elements to find the ghost of the lagoon. Meanwhile, the chessboard constantly changes. The sun from bright to buried. The water from clear to cloudy. The wind from stiff to silent. There are no gimmies or do-overs, but with a little bit of patience and a whole lot of know-how, the lagoon reveals itself. Anglers are grateful for the windows they are given and the hard-earned victories that follow. New Smyrna Beach has a treasure chest on its hands. The Indian River Lagoon is a major economy built on ecotourism and saltwater fishing. It is an engine that helps the city, this county, the state thrive. The lagoon makes you a student of its past and steward of its future. In the present, take in the silence that has hushed thousands of anglers. It's a solitude that demands quiet. Lean on a nod or a signal from a trusted comrade. When your turn comes, listen, be still. If everything clicks, the ghost will come tailing.